This dude's getting his head tattooed. Looks like he's getting the Virgin Mary on the top of his head, which I can, from what I recall, my head tattoo was not terrible. The top anyways. Once you got closer to the edges, the sides of the head, that's when it started to hurt more. But at the same time, you know, different tattooers have different hand weights, different ways of tattooing. 6 months later, letting the hair go out. Oh, so they haven't seen it since. Okay. Yeah, it looks like he lined up. Did he do just the line work? Hard to tell. No, there's shading in there. But that's just how the head goes, you know? It's like, I think because of the hair follicles pushing out ink or the scabbing ahead of time, it just lightens up so much. What a handsome fella. Yeah, some people do look shitty bald, especially if you don't have that head shape for it. I don't know if I have that head shape. It's pretty round. I guess I have a pretty round head. So yeah, the line work definitely is in there, but you can see, you know, that there's sections that look lighter than others. And I feel like with head tattoos, multiple passes is definitely a requirement. Even in the long term, because, you know, I think because the head probably gets the most sun relative to most everywhere else, especially if you don't wear hats. And then the follicles, the hair pushing, you know, upwards and outwards, I'm sure has something to do with the way the tattoos lighten up on the head. Because like when I got my head done, I remember just being so dark, and I liked the way it looked dark. And then as months and months and months, and I think it's been like 3 years, 4 years since I got it done, it's lightened up a lot, and it's just how it is. But at the same time, I think he needed to use a little bit more straight black on my head, more straight black in a lot of areas. And I think that's something that we have to think about when we're getting our head tattooed, is a lot of bigger shapes, not so much detail, especially because it does lighten up. So the detail tends to get bunched up and it's harder to see, especially when it lightens up. I think bigger images with bigger shapes of just straight black and open skin as well will definitely hold better for head tattoos.
Damn, daddy. Yeah, that part's like the worst right there, your hairline. The rest of it's like not that bad. I think the hairline was the worst part of it. I remember that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what he said there, that the hairline, like the front part, definitely felt sharper than everything else. And like he was saying, the rest of it wasn't that bad. I agree there.
That part did get you for sure. Really bad.
And the needle up against the skull, just rattling.
The tat flu. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
The tat.
Yeah, the tat flu. So the tat flu is really a thing, you know, especially if you're already going through some sort of immune weakness moment, you know, like flu season. Getting a tattoo can definitely shock your system and throw you into a sickness, into a flu-like sickness. When I tattooed my wife, she was already feeling a little bit under the weather. She was already starting to take like vitamins and you know, vitamin C and all that stuff. And when we did her tattoo, it seemed like that day that we finished it, she went from starting to get sick to being blown, like full blown sick. And yeah, tattoo flus are really a thing.
Flu got the tat flu.
Yeah, and I think for me the worst part of it was afterwards, because I do remember, because this was like 3 years ago, I do remember when I got my tattoo, I was up in Las Vegas. And if you've been to Vegas, especially like in the months of June to September, it's fucking hot. It's hot as balls. And every building, every business has their air conditioning blasting. So when I got my head tattooed, at the end of it, I had a headache. I did feel like that flu-ish type of nausea or discomfort, like mentally. And then I had a hotel for the night before we drove home, so I wanted just to rest there. We left the shop. It was hot as fuck outside still. It was already nighttime, evening time, so it wasn't as hot, but it was still hot, so I felt the warmth. We went back to the hotel. As soon as I walked into the hotel, I could feel the air conditioned air, like 60-degree air temperature inside of that hotel. And I felt my skin just tighten up. And that was excruciating on my head to the point where it was just throbbing. It felt really hot. I needed to lay down, and it was just terrible. I remember having my wife get cold packs, or even just like a towel with cold water, and putting it on my head to relieve some of that throbbing. And I was pretty much dealing with that all through the night.
I think that was my 10. It was that, my armpits were second, my butt was third.
So he was saying that because of the tattoo flu that he got after, it made the pain or this discomfort a 10, which was his top pain comparison to his armpit and his butt cheeks. There you have it. I mean, the head tattoo does suck more after than during, at least for me, and for him, it seems like I've gotten almost my armpit tattooed, and that shit wasn't too bad. It does burn. It's kind of a weirder sensation. I want you guys to go check out the full video, Wayne Fredrickson on YouTube, and check out that video, Head Tattoos Hurt. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. If you have any questions that you want me to talk about, drop those in the comments below. Peace and love.